Hi there, folks, and welcome to the What Solutions for this week's The Daily Rigour, issue number 205. So, for our sports story this week, we've had a few of these stories over the last few weeks. People doing some wonderful sporting achievements while stuck in lockdown. So, we've now got a distance runner attempting to break the world record for running 100 miles on a treadmill, and he managed to break the record in just 12 hours and 9 minutes, stopping only to go to the toilet and eat a bag of crisps. I think I managed to go into the toilet and eat the bag of crisps part during my lockdown. I'm not sure about the running 100 miles though. So we have to calculate the average speed for the duration of his 100-mile run. Okay, so first things first, we need to know how to calculate speed. And to do that, we use the formula distance divided by time. So the distance is 100 miles, but usually a running speed is calculated in miles per hour. So we've got the time in hours and minutes, so we're going to need to change this minutes part into hours. This is a bit of fourth level numeracy here, because it's not 12.09, it's not 12.9, that's even worse, because there's not 100 minutes in an hour, like pence in every pound. There's only 60 minutes in an hour, so to change minutes into hours, we need to divide by 60. And 9 divided by 60 is 0.15 hours. So 12 hours and 9 minutes can be written as 12.15. So 12 hours and 0.15 of an hour. And then when you divide this in your calculator, and I've rounded to two decimal places here, we get an average speed of 8.23. And because the distance was in miles and the time was in hours, then your units for speed is going to be miles per hour, which is actually like an incredible speed to do 100, average speed to do 100 miles in. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so onto our science story. So the bees are now thriving during lockdown as the pollution plummets across the UK. So Britain's largest bee farm currently has 4,000 hives, each filled with 50,000 bees. So how many bees are there in the world's largest bee farm? Well, it's really going to be 4,000 lots of these 50,000 bees. So it's going to be 50,000 times 4,000. So 5 times 4 is 20, and then another 7 zeros. So that will be 2 and 8 zeros in your answer. Now, to write in words, this is units, this is tens, this is hundreds, this is thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So this would be millions, tens of millions, then hundreds of millions. So we've got 200 million, and because all the rest of the digits are zero, that's the answer in words. So we brought this up in a previous edition of the Daily Rigour, and we quite like revisiting this just to kind of hammer home some facts about zero. And bees are actually quite good at numeracy because they can distinguish between a non-zero value and zero with moderate ability. So they're not grade A students at maths, but they would probably end up with a B. Oh, okay, never mind. That was just a wee joke there. So here's a wee kind of zero quiz. So first of all, 6 plus 0. So we should be quite okay with that. So if you start at 6 in the number line and you go up 0 spaces, you would still be at 6. So 6 add 0 is just 6. So 0 times 4 means 4 lots of 0. So if you added up 4 zeros, you would still get 0. And that kind of leads to the discovery where 0 multiplied by anything is just 0. Now the last one's a wee bit trickier. So the obvious wrong answer to write here is 0 also, because that would be 0 divided by 7, as in £0 shared amongst 7 people, they would each get £0. But we're not trying to share £0 amongst 7 people, we are trying to share £7 amongst 0 people. And that's actually impossible to do. So I think this is where this difficulty arises, because a lot of people's concept of dividing is to do with sharing. But how can you share something amongst 0 people? It's impossible. Now, if you actually type this into your calculator to help you, 7 divided by 0 and then pressed equals, you would get maths error as your answer. And that's because you can't divide by 0. And what we say in maths is that means the answer is undefined. So that's the proper answer. But if you put maths error, I suppose we would accept that, even though you cheated a wee bit and used your calculator. Okay, so on to our next story from the UK. So the Queen holds 6 Guinness World Records, quite impressive for just one person. But now back to the maths. So the world record for memorising the decimal places of pi is actually 70,000 decimal places, achieved by a lady in India. where she would have blindfold throughout the entire recall, which took nearly 10 hours. So how many digits of pi did you manage to memorise? Well, if you managed the first few, maybe you got to this here. So we've got 3.1415265. Do you know what? I'm not even going to read the rest of it. But this isn't the 70,000 digits of pi. This is just one page of it. So this lady memorised all of this whilst blindfolded. All of this. All of this. All of this. And then, believe it or not, all of this as well. I mean, it just makes me sick just looking at it. So she managed that. So I hope you managed at least 10 decimal places or something. That would have been quite good. Anyway, we better put this off the screen now, before we all start to feel a wee bit dizzy. Okay, so on to our last story. So Netflix saves you days per year without watching adverts. I thought this was a really interesting story. So traditionally, networks run 18 minutes of adverts per hour, with 42 minutes of showtime. So, and Netflix said last year that the average user spends 2 hours per day watching content. So, how much do they save the average user from watching adverts? So, it's going to be 18 minutes per hour multiplied by 2, meaning that they save them watching 36 minutes per day worth of adverts. So 36 minutes per day, we want 1 year, there's 365 days in a year. So if we multiply 36 by 365, that comes to 13,140 minutes per year. But we have to give our answer in days and hours, not minutes. So we can change to hours by dividing by 60, because there's 60 minutes in an hour and there'll be less hours than there is minutes. So this would be your answer for hours. And then to change hours into days, we divide by 24, because there's 24 hours in a day. So that comes to 9.125 days, but it does say give your answer in days and hours. So we can change this 0.125 days into hours by then multiplying by 24. So that's basically like an eighth of a day, which is 3 hours. So our final answer is going to be 9 days and 3 hours. So that's a whopping 9 days and 3 hours that Netflix saves you from watching adverts. And I actually think that's really quite a staggering figure. So you know what they say, you can never watch too much TV, you can never watch too many adverts if you use Netflix or other streaming services for your television. But anyway, folks, that was the Word Solutions for this week. We hope you enjoyed solving these problems, and stay tuned for next week's edition, when we're going to be looking at more stories from the news of the week and the numbers behind them. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and bye for now.